Okay, you ready? We're gonna
Yep.
count you down. 3, 2, 1, mob.
Welcome, everyone. For the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds, we're diving into why embracing diversity and gender-diverse talent can transform your business. Take El Quimico, for example, where 60% of their leadership team are women. Jean Trin notes that his trust in those women and their exceptional organizational skills is what actually drives and thrives that business. Though within hospitality, noted here as all positions mainly within hotel and tourism, only 26% of leadership roles are actually occupied by women. And this number slides down significantly when we get into our part of the industry. Sorry, I'm losing my mic. So how can we possibly change that? Well, because we do know that 43% of companies that have diverse management report higher profits. So if we put that on perspective, it's because there is better and more creative problem-solving solutions, which sort of improves decision-making, and they challenge each other, and they help attract and maintain that talent and reduce turnover costs. So taking that to the tech industry for a minute, showing that sort of 15% of increase in profitability when having women in senior roles. This is sort of due to collaborative and transformative leadership, sort of with the ability to be a little bit more cautious when it comes to risk and prioritizing long-term thinking. And naturally, women are more focused on diversity and inclusion. Back to our industry, just for one more statistic. Marriott Hotels and Resorts saw 4.7% growth in their global market share, which was driven by their DE&I programs. In the US alone, which makes up 78% of their business, 50% of their leadership team are women. So we do know that there is a direct impact on profitability when we have women in these roles. But we have to come back to our space, where we do know that within sort of food and beverage operations, there is a lack of diversity and a lack of statistics. We just don't have them. So we need to work on that too. But how can we change that? There's a few things to consider. And that would be, firstly, starting with inclusive hiring practices. Look at your adverts, the language you're using. Where are you putting them? Are you seeking out that gender diverse talent? Are you making sure your leadership team is not riddled with bias? Because we all have it. It's really making sure that you're considering the hiring practices at the very start. Women often leave the industry due to a lack of mentorship and growth opportunities. So we need to establish a structure whereby growth is offered. For example, in Dubai at Mimi Cashew, the assistant bar manager started 2.5 years ago with 0 English and all hospitality, I was told. But she was mentored and supported in growing in her position, which led her to be an integral part of the business. 51% of the hospitality industry are women. We definitely know that, and actually 100% of them in this photo. Keeping us in Mexico City, I would like to use the example of Handshake. There are 3 women that work in senior roles between PR, GM, and their lab manager, and they were all developed into those roles as starting as bartenders. But really, this can only happen through creating a safe and supportive work environment. Safety is essential for women to thrive in your business. So if they don't feel safe, you need to investigate this. There needs to be a zero tolerance policy on harassment, an anonymous reporting system, and making sure that there's action in those procedures, and that there's an open dialogue between everyone so that they feel comfortable to speak to each other. And make sure you're encouraging that male allyship within the business as well. And elephant in the room, we need to talk about the fact that we need to pay women equally for their work as well. And this can be done by setting transparent pay scales whereby you standardize roles and salaries, have transparent promotional criteria so it's very aware when one candidate is promoted than the other, therefore this is what they do at Bar Mordecai in Canada, and have clear guidelines and understanding how service charge is distributed within your business. Also, we kind of need to make women be a little bit better at negotiating. Taking us back to Uno Mas, where they had a very interesting incentive program where they were giving £1 retro that they got from a bottle to the staff and £1 retro to the business, keeping women interested and engaged in excelling their business. Now I'm lost. You have to empower your team, and that's so important. Introduce women to the networks that you're a part of, making sure that you're introducing them to the conversation and teaching them and really getting them to reach out to people that inspire them. Because a 50-50 approach is what we need. And through the challenges we face in a cultural society where we teach men to be independent and women are more of a nature, sort of nurtured character, it's really important that we sort of think about the fact that we need to borrow confidence sometimes. So Beckley Franks, I would love to borrow her confidence because she's always standing on the top of the bar and with her confidence exuding outside the bar. And she says to me, you sort of need to commit to the lit, meaning commit to the light inside of you and really pursue the passion that you have when it comes to learning about your craft. Or sometimes we need to sort of look for inspiration from iconic women, looking outside our industry and making sure that we can sort of borrow confidence that Claire Warner likes to tell me. In my situation, what would Taylor Swift do? Certainly not this. But we also need to understand that we can only build confidence through teaching and supporting. So to do that, we have to have very good training programs, which means when we go back to Mexico City and we talk to Eric, he says that there is a transformational, supportive program where he goes, having each person do each role. Therefore, they're really understanding how the business works. So it's really important that they feel supported in that way. But bring in your guests, because customer feedback is super, super important. There are many cocktail influencers that I've seen over the last couple of days. They're the ones that go outside our business, that are traveling around, sharing what we're doing in our bars. Tell them what you're up to. They're the ones that are going to help you create a community beyond your reach. Exchange information. You know, we are an industry where we really need to understand that we can learn a lot from each other, exactly like today. At Panda & Sons, they're seeking out female talent and adding that into their business. And Handshake, they're focused on developing it. And at Bar Mordecai, they're incredibly transparent on how all their payment structures go. But it's not about just who we are now, it's about who will join us tomorrow. And be the advocates who turn, if you can see it, you can be it, into action. Create inclusive and safe workspaces, help mentor and coach the women in your business, and seek out their talent. Do not leave money sitting on the table. I hope, together we can change the future.